his future, and I was concerned about what it would cost if that equated to legal action for all of us, especially for you and I, Scotty. So I made sure that William Wolf, who for some strange reason started saying that he was Billy, that he was okay. So I did my best to take care of him. But for crying out loud, as time went on, so you say that you like spending time with him, but you were with him a fraction of the time that I was with him, Scotty. And almost from Jump Street, from day one, I have never been around another soul that has gotten on my nerves and agitated me to that degree other than Billy. Billy. And the FGW fans couldn't get enough. They just loved Billy. From the start of the show to the end of the show, we want Billy. We want Billy. Every show. Makes me... I would vomit, but I've got my very expensive luxury furniture and I don't want to ruin by yakking on it. But it makes my innards swell and curdle and just the vile bile in my system wants to protrude thinking about that whole situation. But while I was taking care of keeping Billy at bay and enjoying a successful reign as People's Champion of FGW, you had an altercation with the aforementioned Shawna Reed.
I put that broad in the hospital.
You did! You did put her in the hospital, which again caused a little bit of friction between you and I because I had some long-term plans for her, but in retrospect...
I made it up to you, David.
In retrospect... She played me like a fiddle. She played you like a fiddle. And I tried to warn you, man. I tried to tell you that something smelled fishy in Denmark. Something was not right. And she came back after you beat her down and literally sent her to the hospital. She had to have surgery. Emergency medical surgery. She was out for a while, and then she came back.
Well, that just shows you what kind of swag I have. You put a broad in the hospital, and she still wants to come back for more. Ask Cody. Now, see, she came back, and she came back with the darker hair and with a new attitude. I liked it. I digged it, man. And ultimately... I did what you wanted in the first place, and I brought her over to Darkness Worldwide. Now, if that didn't work out the way you thought, I mean...
It didn't work out for either of us, though. We both got screwed.
I didn't know anything about that.
Man, do you not follow social media?
No, not really.
Have you not seen the video proof of Shawna with Cody Hawk? Again?
Oh, yeah. I've heard about that.
Exactly!
What can I say, man? You're in quarantine. You're going to do some stupid things. I think, what is it, St. Patty's Day, I believe?
See, man, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Listen, man. Denial isn't just a river in Egypt. So here's the situation. I know you meant well. I know you meant well. At the time, I was conflicted because I knew something felt off. Something did not feel right, which was why I was incredibly reluctant to trust her. From my past experiences with her and knowing how conniving she can be, knowing how susceptible men are to her crocodile tears, I knew that I was absolutely more than just a wee bit concerned if we could trust her or not. But eventually, I went against my gut reaction, which it always ends up being the worst move that I can make. But I
What was your gut reaction?
my gut reaction was to tell her to drag her ass as far away from us as possible. But I didn't. I didn't, because I felt like she had proven herself enough. I knew you were committed to it. I knew that I had plans for her already anyway, so I accepted it. I welcomed her in, and then...
Look at it from my point of view, Dave, like flat out, like, yeah, that's the queen bee at FGW, all right? You're looking at Mrs. FGW, Female of the Year. You're looking at Mr. FGW, Male of the Year. And yeah, it's a power couple. But in my mind, sometimes you have to make sacrifices for your better good. And I thought, jumping on that bandwagon, I knew exactly what she's capable of doing. I know how manipulative she is. I'm not stupid. I thought if I could tag along with that and make something of that I could eventually get what I deserve, what's rightfully mine, and that's that FGW championship. No, once again, I was derailed. She got the Zeta Memorial Championship, and me, here, I'm on the back burner again. This goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is, the politics and, the people that overlook the real talent at FGW. And it doesn't matter what I do, whether, I can go through that whole roster. And I'm starting to think that I'm pretty much going to be a mid-carder there until I retire, because I don't know what the hell that I have to do. I tried to play Shawna Reed to get me to where I need to be, and the last show before we went on this whole quarantine break, what happened? She got the damn FGW Championship title opportunity, not me.
And that's my exact point. So when the world goes back to being somewhat normal again, when things resume. Now, I'm not stupid enough to open up my playbook and share my plans with the imbecilic FGW fans or the ungrateful FGW locker room, or especially FGW management, a.k.a. Brian Levick. I can't stand Brian Levick. But there are plans, because I've had plenty of time to think, organize, and strategize plans. And the end result of those plans is going to see, one way or another, Scotty Amos, the prophet of pain, finally crowned, rightfully crowned, long time deservedly crowned FGW heavyweight champion. But before we get to that point, there's a few bits and pieces of unfinished business that need to be attended to.
I agree with that.
And that unfinished business equals a handful of individuals. Shawna Reed's definitely somewhere in there. Cody Hawk might be in there as well. Ripper Blackhart for sure is in that, because ultimately he is the cause of so many issues. He is beyond a thorn in my side. If there's one...
Ripper, I know from looking at the FGW, like, he is hot on my tail with the one known as Harley Fairfax. That I don't know what her issue is with me.
Listen. Listen.
I simply...
Harley Fairfax is, without question, the most ungrateful individual I have ever met in my entire existence. Period.
I would agree.
Ripper Blackheart is still upset and angry because you wouldn't sign with him years ago, and has carried that frustration over to this very day. And now...
He's just a giant pud. So, that's all I got to say.
So you are the prophet of pain, And he is the prophet of Pud. That's the way that goes.
That is a fact.
Yes.
Pud Master 3000.
But now he has aligned himself with Harley Fairfax. So Harley Fairfax, just to go and take the listeners down memory lane here, just for a tad bit, a moment, if you will. I found Harley Fairfax in the middle of nowhere. Nobody knew who she was.
I'll say it.
Well, I wasn't, but sure. So, I found her. Nobody knew who she was. More importantly, nobody cared. And I took her under my wing. And I worked with her. And I taught her. I taught her the ways of darkness. I taught her how to not only be a survivor, but to thrive in the wrestling industry. I introduced her to the right people. I got her improved training. I put her with a support system that helped to elevate her to a whole other level. She's always been dangerous, don't get me wrong. But she had no guidance. She had no clue on what direction to go, on how to move up that ladder of success in the professional wrestling world. And I helped to give her that guidance, to give her that boost of confidence, to mold and shape her into a legitimate threat, into a real star, into someone that the FGW fans would actually care about, which now they do. Again, just like with Billy, you're welcome, FGW fans. But here's the thing. As time went on, Harley decides that she doesn't need to listen to me. She doesn't need to listen to you, Scotty. She doesn't need to listen to anybody. She knows what's best. She knows how to get the job done all on her own, etc., blah, blah, blah.
Now, when I took Harley underneath of my wing, that was like, on a straight shoot, Harley is like my sister. I took her underneath my wing. She was one of the battle rats that went in there when I was in, and I just constantly trained whenever we had a free time together. And like she beat the shit out of me. I would beat the shit out of her, and she stood her ground. And I did look at her like a little sister. And I'm gonna let you in on a little bit of top secret information. Now, I told Miss Harley that there will come a time to where our paths must go in different directions, and it's going to hurt. And whatever has to be done needs to be done. And I told her there should not be any hard feelings. And that day had come forward, speaking of the pretty little psycho Shawna Reed, and I ended up breaking Harley Fairfax's ankle. Tough love. I'm sorry. You heard it right there. I warned you that it was coming. It happened. And Ripper Blackhart, as manipulative as he is, he's seen an opportunity to grab somebody that I had beef with, or as he thought that I had beef with, and pretty much sank his teeth into her and manipulated her mind, and now has turned Harley against me. So there's your backstory on that. Continue, Dave.
So, no, everything you just said is 1,000% correct. So Ripper Blackheart saw an opportunity to once again manipulate and use somebody to do his bidding. And here's the...
He's barking up the wrong tree. I'm telling you right now, it's not Harley that wants this match. It's Ripper that wants this match. Let's all be honest with ourselves. All right? The worst thing that could happen to Harley in her career is to be put into a ring with me, the prophet of pain, the essential one, Amos. And you're putting your career on death row. And if the harder and harder they're going to push, one day I'm going to give. And she's not going to come out the same. I'm sorry. Just because, you want equal opportunity. If you want it, I'm going to give it to you. I'm not going to hold back. I've stood the likes of Bad Attitude Brian Beech, Feud of the Year with Cody Hawk. I've stood with, the 7-foot Paxton Calloway, Suplex Jackson Stone. I've shared the ring with all of these guys. What in the hell does she have to offer to get in the ring with me? And by what? Whose right mind that she deserves to be in the same ring with Brian. Like, she does not